Hello. My name is Gina Dallison, and I have been living with MS officially since 2009. And this is just a short video where I'm going to explain a little bit about my MS journey, so I can send to anybody who's in my world, because it doesn't matter how you got diagnosed; everyone's got a slightly different journey to it. So I was originally diagnosed in 2009 after some severe numbness coming up my feet, legs, and into my hands. So at pre-diagnosis, my hands were bad enough. I was struggling to hold a pen. I was not able to drive because I couldn't feel my feet properly. So it was quite a scary place to be. In my head at the time, I was 34 years old. I had two young sons, aged 2 and 4, and pre-diagnosis, my imagination went to worst case scenario. I got a brain tumor and I got 6 months to live, and I was not going to be able to bring up my children, which was obviously very frightening. However, when I actually received the diagnosis some months later, after going through the rigmarole of an MRI and a lumbar puncture and all that stuff, I the symptoms had abated, they'd gone away. So I actually felt all right. So it didn't feel too bad to me to receive a diagnosis of MS. I didn't know much about it. My neurologist was quite good the way that she delivered the news to me, as in she told me that I was, it probably wasn't going to kill me. It wasn't a life limiting, though it was lifestyle limiting. She also said that it was at this point in time incurable. It was probably going to get worse. And then when I asked her what could I do to help myself, she told me that there was nothing that I could do. So those were the three things I really took from that meeting. I'd got an incurable disease that was going to get worse, and there was nothing that I could do. That's three things. However, at that point in time, I was okay. And I thought in my head, well, if I just get a bit of numbness every so many years, then that's okay, especially if I know what it is and I'm not so frightened about it. She also told me at the time that they didn't do anything about it until we had an episode. She explained about what relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis was, and that's what I was diagnosed with, which you get a flare up and then it goes into states of remission. And I was obviously in a state of remission when I got diagnosed. And she explained that they don't do anything in the way of medication until I would have a second episode in a 2-year period, and then they could look at putting me on disease modifying therapy, DMTs. So when I had a second relapse in 6 months, obviously they then offered me a whole load of medications. And just as a bit of a back cycle, when looking back, I'd actually had some mild symptoms when I was in my early 20s in the 1990s, where I was feeling numbness in the bottom of my feet. I knew it felt weird. I wasn't in pain. It didn't stop me doing anything. It just felt odd. And I went as far as actually going to see a neurologist, and the neurologist he saw me every, I don't know, I must have seen him about 3 or 4 times every 6 months, where he did this zippy thing at the bottom of your feet, get you to do this with your fingers and walk up and down. And in the end, I thought I didn't like having the zippy thing up and down my feet, and thought, you know what, I'll just live with the numbness. And then it must have disappeared, or I ignored it. I also had an episode when I was about 7 years old where I had some sort of strange virus. And I just remember not being able to get out of bed. My legs stopped working. And from what we can remember, looking back between my mum and I, it was a couple of weeks where I wasn't able to walk. And then it was okay again. I don't remember anything else. So I don't know, maybe from that time when I was 7, that triggered something in my body. Who knows? Nobody really knows. So I ended up taking Avonex, which was a weekly injection from 2010, and I took that for about, well, until 2017. There were mild side effects that I got rid of by taking the injection on an evening before I went to bed, and then taking a couple of paracetamol to get rid of the flu-like symptoms I experienced. It was about 2017 that my symptoms started. It was like between 2010 and 2017, either the Avonex was working its magic, or I wasn't having any relapses anyway. And you couldn't really tell there was anything wrong with me. I didn't feel there was anything wrong with me. I called myself an MS fraud because I'd got the label, but didn't really have any of the symptoms. However, around 2016, 2017, symptoms started to come creeping in. If I'd walked for a long distance, my left leg was a bit droppy. I was getting to a point where I'd been running and it wasn't feeling, I was feeling like I was tripping. I couldn't lift when my legs get tired, they got a bit heavier. And it was about that time I was going through a lot of life stuff anyway. I fondly call it my vortex of shit. Everything was sort of going on. I was really unhappy at work. My relationship was in tatters. Financially, we were bad. We were getting evicted from the house. My father was dying. There was a lot of life stuff going on. So it wasn't surprisingly that I had a bit of a flare up. But even before that flare up, I'd started noticing these symptoms, and I started doing my own research. And I came across a guy called George Jelinek and his work Overcoming Multiple Sclerosis, which was just the one of many that I found once I started looking, that actually people were managing their condition without taking a load of frightening medications with frightening side effects, by changing their diet, changing their lifestyle, using meditation as a form of relaxation. So I changed my diet pretty much overnight. I read this book, or read the majority of this book, and decided I was going to do my best to help myself. George Jelinek at no point suggests that you give up the medication, but that sort of got me on a journey, because part of what he said, he suggested going meat-free, dairy-free, which is what I did. He suggested upping your exercise, which I did, and also taking up meditation, which out of the three things I found the most challenging, but I also did. And that sort of started changing my life, really, as I got more connected to myself, more connected to my intuition, and which then led, whole different story, but then led to me giving up my corporate work and taking up life coaching as a career. So this is what I do now. And this is what I've been doing since 2018, really. These days, I am not, it was about 2017 when the symptoms were getting worse, irrespective of the medication. They then wanted to offer me stronger medication. And at this point, I had been learning about the mind-body connection, learning about how toxins affect our body. And I wanted to detoxify, not add more toxins in. I'd already been quite keen on not taking medication. And it was really through the pressure of my partner, who was worried, obviously, and scared about my future, that I ended up taking it in the first place. But during my vortex of shit, me and my partner split up, in which case I decided, you know what, I'm not going to take any more medication, and I'm going to deal with this myself. So since then, I've not been on any medication, which is now June 2024. And I would like to say that that's been the best decision ever. Well, I do feel it's been the best decision ever, but am I symptom free? No, I am not. So as we stand, my symptoms are quite severe. I don't walk very well. My balance is not good. My legs are very heavy. They feel like they're weighted to the ground. I talk about wearing my gravity trousers because it just, yeah, my legs are really, really heavy. And I also have continence issues. But other than that, I feel really good. I've sailed through menopause. I'm now nearly 4 years out the other side of having my last period. I'm not on any medication at all. I I feel good in myself. So every time I get an opportunity to look at medication, it's not something that really calls to me. This is my journey, and I am determined to do it my way, really. I have tried many different things. So the diet was one thing. I did a 18 months where I was really quite strict. Didn't really make any difference to my symptoms as such. I've tried many different diets since then. I'm now, I would say, 80% gluten, dairy free, but coffee and cake is my nemesis a little bit. I used to be a marijuana smoker as well, and I've not been doing that now for 18 months, though I've made some edibles. Again, this is not helping my MS particularly. I don't notice it make any difference. I'm not in pain. I don't have particularly spasticity. So what I am doing now is connecting more to myself, looking for the answers inside of me, asking for answers, getting in touch, meditating as much as possible, using my imagination to see where I want to be going. Doing a lot of Joe Dispenza's work at the moment, if you've come across him, and he is definitely worth a watch if you're newly diagnosed. So I am totally going on this journey on my own, and I'm still in touch with my neurologist, but I haven't had an MRI now for a couple of years because it seemed a bit of a pointless exercise. Again, they do the contrast, they put the contrast in your arm. That's more toxins. So I'm doing my best to detoxify myself as much as possible. I'm barely using any products on myself, not using strong chemicals in the house for cleaning, doing a lot of mindset stuff, doing a lot of energy work, and working on my beliefs. So this is me, where I'm at with my MS at the moment. I am quite reliant on a mobility scooter. I can move about, I can walk, but I need support both sides. But I am believing that healing is possible. I just need to find my own way. And this is my own way, sharing what I'm doing in the aim that I can help people find their own way as well. Because in 2016, 2017, when I started my own research, I started my own conscious healing journey. I decided to take full responsibility for my health and my happiness. And this is the path that it's taken me on. So if you'd like to know more, then I'll share some links down below. I've got a free Facebook group called the Healing Vibrations Network, where it's all about vibrations, the vibrational work. I've learned about the law of attraction. I've learned about the law of vibration. I know that when we feel better, then life becomes better. So that's what the Facebook group is all about. There's also a free event every fortnight, the first and third Monday of every Wednesday, where you can come and connect in with me at a free event. So again, I'll share the links below here. And if you'd just like to connect and have a chat, then always open for talking to people on a healing journey who feel a bit stuck. And if I'm able to help them, I've got a coaching program that enables you to become more self-aware, because self-awareness to me is the key of moving forwards towards where you want to be. You need to decide where you want to be going, and that's not always easy. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now. My name is Gina Dallison. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. Come and be part of my world. Whatever you decide, whatever route you decide with your MS or your chronic illness is the right one for you. But the more you believe it's the right one, the more it will be the right one. Beliefs are so, so important. So watch out for this channel for more information on beliefs, for more stuff that I am learning that's getting me through and keeping me smiling every day, even when things aren't quite what you would like them to be. So thank you for listening this far. Thank you for being part of my world, and I'll look forward to getting to know you better.